and good evening, Chicago. Welcome on into Chi-Town Weekly here on IE Sports Radio. We're going to have some fun tonight. It's Super Bowl week. We've got a big game to break down, and we're going to have all kinds of help doing that between the Chiefs and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the old guard and the new guard. Are we going to see Patrick Mahomes cement his legacy, or has Tom Brady got one more ace up his sleeve? Dave Friedman from the Kansas City Shuffle is going to stop by to help us break that matchup down. Later on tonight, we're also going to go rapid fire all the way around the city, talk about things that happened this past week with the Bulls and the Blackhawks, and a little bit about the Cubs and the White Sox, and all the quarterback stuff happening in the NFL. We will talk about that, but first, she's coming home. Candace Parker is coming back to Chicago to play for the Sky. It became official this afternoon. After 13 years in Los Angeles, she's back home. She couldn't be more excited. We are going to break down this free agent signing for what it means for the Sky and for the WNBA and for Candace. So strap on in, let's buckle up and have some fun. This is Chi-Town Weekly. And once again, welcome on in. I am your host, Adam Karnick. Thank you so much for taking time out of your Monday night or whenever you're listening to this show to talk about some Chicago sports with me. I already see Larry and Taryn in the chat room. If you want to hop in with those guys, if you are listening live, go on to Spreaker, log on in. It is free. You can hop on into the chat and we can banter back and forth. Larry and Taryn are both less than excited about our first topic of conversation. They're both out in California, so to see Candace Parker leave and come back to Chicago is, sad for them, but we will dive into that in a second. Before we get too much further, happy birthday, Larry. Larry, the founder of IE Sports. It's his birthday today, so happy birthday to the big guy. And then, of course, we can't go any further without getting the housekeeping out of the way. Lots and lots of sponsors on IE Sports Radio this week, so let's dive right into it. Legacy Financial. Last year was a tough year. However, staying positive, keeping your faith, and continuing to work hard is the goal. If you're in a financial struggle at the moment and you need some help, or if you're doing well and you want to get to the next level, either way, give them a call. Also, if you're looking for a new opportunity to work for yourself and earn more money part-time, give them a call. You can call AO at 510-928-2104 to book your appointment today. Andrew and AO are just two people on a mission to help families build a legacy. Follow them on Twitter at legacy_uncut or on Instagram at sims_uncut. Also, we are sponsored this week by Mom is Always Right Media, and that's WRITE. Are you feeling overwhelmed with schoolwork? Those essays keeping you up at night? Don't lose sleep. Just pick up the phone. Mom is Always Right Writing Agency will give you quality essays, and we always make our deadlines. Sleep soundly knowing we are on the job. For more information, call 626-653-3649. Also part of Mom is Always Right Media, it goes down in the PM. Make sure you check out the new episode of It Goes Down in the PM, brought to you by Mom is Always Right Media, where we help you open your business from start to finish. Also, Coffee After Dark. Don't miss the next chapter of your favorite love story. Check out the Season 2 premiere of Coffee After Dark, brought to you by Mom is Always Right Media, where we help you open your business from start to finish. And then the Sports Rundown. Are you a sports fan but have too much going on in your life these days to keep up with the 24/7 sports news cycle? Or maybe you are new to sports and want to understand the nuances better. If so, then the Sports Rundown is for you. We are a new podcast that gives you basic, professional, and collegiate sports news, stats, tidbits, and fun facts by the time you get to work, start that second cup of coffee, or finish walking the dog. Enough information to make you dangerous while talking about current sporting events, and we will teach you something fun along the way, like about mascots, uniforms, history, feel-good stories, and sports rules. We even cover the Premier League. New episodes drop Monday and Friday mornings, so come give them a listen. Thank you again to all of our sponsors. That is fantastic. Then ways to follow along with the station on social media, IE Sports. You can follow along Twitter at IE Sports Radio, Instagram at IE Sports Radio, Facebook search IE Sports Radio, or just go to our website, iesportsradio.com. And then you can follow along with this show on Twitter at IESRC on Twitter. Or if you want to follow along with my personal Twitter feed, you can do that at Adam_Karnick. So Candace Parker. The news broke last week. I want to say it was Wednesday or Thursday morning. The news broke that Candace Parker was going to be leaving Los Angeles and coming back to Chicago. And at first, my thought and my inclination was, this is kind of a farewell tour, that this is going to be a player on their last legs. Hey, I want to get to back home or back to a familiar or good situation and have one last hurrah before I make my exit. And certainly Candace Parker has been playing for a while, since 2008. But this is not the case here. She is the reigning Defensive Player of the Year in the WNBA. She's a 2-time MVP, a 5-time All-Star. She is still playing at the peak of her game, of her skills. She was playing out with Los Angeles. The Sparks have been fantastic the whole time she has been out there. The Sky are getting a quality player, and not just from a basketball standpoint. This can help to put the team back on the map a little bit. Not least of which because Candace is from Naperville. She's a Chicago gal. I listened to a little bit of an interview that she did after the signing became official today, and she pointed out that she's just excited to be able to be back home. That, okay, she was born and raised as a person in Naperville, but she got her basketball education in Chicago, playing in some of the same gyms as Michael Jordan and Anthony Davis and some of the other big-time Chicago basketball stars. This is huge for the Sky, if for no other reason. From a marketing standpoint, you're going to be able to just have a name that people are going to flock to see, but then when they come see her, you're still seeing a great player. She averages almost 17 points a game across her career. I'm pulling up her stats from last year just to show, compared to where she was against her regular numbers. I apologize for not having it up to start with. I was a little bit busy to get the show started tonight, but she's still playing extremely well. This is not, the name recognition might get more people to watch the Sky, but they're going to see that, no, she's still very much playing very, very, very well. She shot just under 40% from three last year. She averaged just under 15 points a game last year. That is actually up from her season before. she's still averaging almost 10 rebounds a night. So still averaging very nearly a double-double every night out there on the court. 30 minutes a night on average last year. And last year, of course, was a little bit of an oddity for basketball everywhere because of the pandemic. The WNBA, same as the NBA, operated in that bubble. Operated in a bubble down in Florida. But the WNBA was still able to get in pretty much a fairly normal looking season. They got in 22 games. A normal season is more like 30 games, but still 22 game regular season. That's still good. So the numbers are worth looking at. Taryn chimes in, Candace Parker, it's almost as worse as an NFL team starting 6-3 and then finishing 8-8. And Taryn wishes her the best. She will forever be the true CP3 of Los Angeles. Forget Chris Paul. Candace Parker will forever be CP3 of LA. And Taryn, I'm sure, is going to have more to say on this when he does SoCal Supreme on Friday, when he talks about the Southern California sports that he does. I'm sure he'll have more to say about Candace Parker. But this is exciting for the Sky. And the Sky were already a decent team last year. They finished overall 12-10. They were a little streaky throughout the year. They made the playoffs. They were the 6th seed in the WNBA playoffs last year. They did lose out in the first round to Phoenix, but this is just going to help push them even further. I would expect the Sky with this move to be definite contenders in the East. They should be front runners to win the Eastern Conference with this move, and then we'll see what happens when they get into the playoffs. The WNBA playoffs are a little bit more like the NFL playoffs. You're not playing series, you're playing just games at a time, so anything can happen in one game, but look for a deep playoff run out of the Sky this summer when the WNBA season comes around. Should be a lot of fun. I wanted to get one other quote in here that I saw from the team, general manager and head coach James Wade. Quote, "It's indescribable to put into words what this moment means to our organization and the city of Chicago. It's an incredible story of a homecoming between a team striving to become a championship organization and one of the best players in basketball. Candace is someone who has meant so much to the game, and not just in LA or Chicago. Her stature is truly unmatched. It says a lot about the strides we've made in the right direction, and we believe Candace is the one who is going to take us to that next level." And yeah, that's the one thing that I do want to kind of harp on this and kind of close on this. This isn't just a farewell tour. Candace sees something in this team that, hey, there's a chance to compete here and it's a chance to go home. That's more the cherry on top. Here's a chance to go win another title and just cement her legacy as one of the best basketball players in the game. So huge news for this past week. Very exciting. It's going to make women's professional basketball in Chicago a lot more fun to pay attention to. All right. Going to take a break a little bit sooner than usual. That's because you may have heard in the open, we are going to have a guest in our last segment tonight. Dave Friedman from the Kansas City Shuffle there on Tuesdays. He's going to join us, and so I want to make sure that we get enough time with him and for him. So going to take a break a little bit sooner than normal, and then when we come back, we are going to rapid fire work our way all around the city of some different stories that popped up this past week. This is Chi-Town Weekly here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Hey, what's up, BS3 sports fans? If you love listening to the BS3 Sports Show, check out the weekend wrap-up every Monday at 12:15 Central Time, 1:15 Eastern, recapping the weekend in sports like you never heard it before. Comedy, interactive chat room, it's a must-listen. Weekend wrap-up on Spreaker.com, part of the X Squad. Check it out. You won't be disappointed.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Davidson.
It's your boy, Dentarius Lava.
And we are the hosts of Fast Break here on IE Sports Radio, where we discuss everything in the world of basketball from prep to the pros.
You guys should definitely check us out, man. Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. We got all the basketball information you guys need, so we look forward to you guys listening in.
And please do, because we are the best basketball show on this side of the Mississippi. And please do check us out on Twitter at FastBreakISR. D-Lock, where's our time again?
8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. That gives you guys plenty of time on a Sunday.
Tune in.
Hi everybody, it's Calvin here from USRN, here to give you an important message. Since 2017, we have done our absolute best to provide you with nothing but the highest quality of sports calls in the greatest of quantity possible. Thanks to you, our station has grown more than we ever thought. That's why, with your help, we would like to grow even further. Just think, twice the amount of your favorite calls, 24 hours of coverage, talk shows, play-by-play, game-by-game analysis, and so much more. That's right, USRN2 is officially in development, but we can't do it alone. We have set up a GoFundMe page that you can access from our homepage on the left of your screen. We also are planning special giveaways and prizes to our highest donors. Our goal here at USRN is to bring you the best calls possible at no cost to you. In order to continue to do that, we need your help now. Please check out our GoFundMe page, and if you would like to know how you can help, you can email usrnradio@gmail.com. Without your support, we couldn't do what we do.
Welcome in to the Neutral Zone. I'm your host, Robert Kavanaugh, and you're listening to IE Sports Radio. If you like big nasty hits, if you like slap shots straight to the neck, if you like it when the gloves hit the ice and the big boys get down, then this is your show on IE Sports Radio. This is the Neutral Zone. May our shots on goal always be true and straight to the net. If they are not, may they be followed up, redirected, or change collected. Let's go on IE Sports Radio with me, your host, Robert Kavanaugh, and this is the Neutral Zone.
What's good, fight fans? It's your boy, Marcus Los Great, here to give you what you want, here to give you what you need. Yeah, man. Yeah. I'm coming to you live, straight from your mama's basement with a crispy, awesome white tea. We are coming to you live every Tuesday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Powered by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
And welcome back into Chi-Town Weekly here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. All right, so we talked a lot about Candace Parker and the WNBA in that first segment, and we've got a guest coming up in the next segment, so we're going to be talking nothing but Super Bowl then. In the meantime, we have got a lot to go over from last week, so let's do some rapid fire working our way around. I want to start at the United Center, and we'll keep the basketball theme going from the first segment. The Chicago Bulls. Ooh, they picked a tough way to lose Saturday night after battling back and forth with Portland all during the game. Actually came back from being down double digits in the second half. They had a 5-point lead with just over 10 seconds to go. It was 11 seconds and change. Damian Lillard then hits a three. Bulls inbound. The inbound gets tied up. Jump ball situation. Not a common occurrence in the NBA. Not a good time to have one if you're the Bulls. And certainly not a good time to lose one if you're the Bulls. Jump ball in their own defensive end. The Bulls do indeed lose it. Portland gets the ball back. Lillard, as time expires, drains another three. The Bulls lose. Third straight loss for the Bulls. A rough one. Had wasted a good night from Kobe White, Zach LaVine, some players that are starting to kind of come into their own a little bit, especially Zach LaVine. LaVine is in the top 10 in scoring right now in the NBA. You're starting to see that he might be somebody that not only do you want to, that's not only working for your team, but you might want to consider building around him. He's finally starting to progress the way the team hoped they would when they traded for him. Kobe White, after some rough games, was playing better. White finished with 3 3-pointers in 34 minutes, 20 points overall. Lauri Markkanen, 31 points in that game. Rough way to lose. They now get to turn around and they play the Knicks tonight. Coin flip, coin toss, and Taryn hops into the chat. Yeah, at least they're not the Nets. Yeah, the Nets did that against the Wizards, against far lesser competition. So yeah, there is that. It still hurts to lose like that, though. You never want to. Obviously, you never want to lose a game, but then to lose a game like that, where you had what felt like a lead you should be able to cover, and then you couldn't. So the Bulls tonight, they actually are favored. The line is currently Bulls -4, so the Bulls are favored a little bit in this one. The Knicks come in for them, and I'm looking through the preview on ESPN right now. The Knicks, they got to get rebounds. That's how they win games, is out-rebounding opponents. They've only won one time in 11 chances where they have been out-rebounded. So that's a key indicator for them. For the Bulls, it's same as it's been for the last few weeks. You got to control the turnovers. You do not want to turn the ball over. They struggle to... They struggle to win when they keep throwing the ball away. Makes sense. If you don't hold on to the ball, then you're not going to win very often. So that's what's going on for the Bulls tonight. That tips off as soon as we get off the air. The Bulls game will be going on. Speaking of things going on the air, over on our sister station, USRN, they've got a live call going on tonight, 8 o'clock tonight. There's a call going on right now, but obviously you're listening to me instead of that. But then at 8 o'clock tonight, USRN will have the call between Oklahoma and Texas Tech. So if you wanted to check that game out, USRN has you covered on that one. Then the other team in the United Center, the Blackhawks. Hey, they finally beat somebody that wasn't Detroit. They beat Columbus 3-1 yesterday. Remarkable in and of itself because the Hawks have been hit by COVID a little bit here at the start of the season. No DeBrincat. Obviously, all the injury bugs, guys like Kirby Dock and Brent Seabrook and Jonathan Taves, of course, those guys are still out. But then they had a couple of guys, including Alex DeBrincat, get hit with COVID, so they are out temporarily. But the Hawks managed to split with the division-leading Blue Jackets. Got a couple points out of that. The Hawks may have found a goalie for themselves, which is incredibly exciting. Kevin Lankinen, now obviously this is a small sample size, but Charlie Rumliadis tweeted this out earlier today, and I retweeted it on the show's account and on my personal account as well. These are statistics per natural stat trick. Lankinen right now ranks second amongst goalies with at least 5 starts. Lankinen is second in goals against average, 1.97. He is the top goalie in save percentage. He's saving just under 94% of his shots faced. He's at 93.7. That's outstanding. Goals saved above average, he's the best at that, 6.18. He basically what that means is in opportunities where it's all right, that was a tough save, he's making the tough saves. High danger percentage, he's third. He's only giving up 4.3 goals in high danger situations. His high danger save percentage is 5th best at 882. High danger, that's shots from down low in the crease that are very, very, very high chance of scoring. Very, very high degree of difficulty for the goalie to make the stop. Either it's a one-timer, or he's covered, or it's just from a high percentage area for the offense to score. Kevin Lankinen is doing work, and he is succeeding. The Hawks came into this season with 3 different guys to attempt to fill the skates that Corey Crawford left by first going to New Jersey and then ultimately retiring. And Lankinen is the guy that is clearly coming out on top. He had the day off today at practice, it looks like. Just going through the notes from some of the different beat writers, it looks like he had the day off from practice. The Hawks next play, I'm getting it up right now. I believe they play tomorrow is their next game. I'm double checking. Yes, they host Carolina both on Tuesday and Thursday nights. this week. Obviously, a goalie, you're going to get nights off just because it is such a wear and tear on your body. It is so hard on you to be playing night in, night out. You don't see the guys, even in a shortened, condensed season, go out there every night at goalie. But Lankinen has earned the right to be the number one goalie for the Hawks. You are going to see him far more often than not, and it is exciting to see. For those not aware, goalie in hockey is almost it's very similar to quarterback in football. That if you've got one, then you're going to be in every single game. And when you don't have one, everybody else on the roster has to work 2, 3, 4 times as hard to make up for that so that you can win some games. Obviously, it's early. Time will tell. We've got a lot more to see before we can say definitively, but it sure looks like the Hawks have found a goalie. And then speaking of football, of course, the big news that came down in the division in the NFL over the weekend was that Matthew Stafford got traded from the Lions out to Los Angeles to the Rams. And the Lions got a king's ransom in return for him. 2 first-round picks. Now, the Rams didn't have a first-round pick this year, so it's a first-round pick in each of the next 2 drafts, 2022 and 2023, plus a third-round pick this year. And the Lions got Jared Goff to be their quarterback for this year, maybe the following season. We'll see. The Rams still have to eat a decent chunk of Goff's contract, so the Lions can get out of it relatively easily. I saw they could actually get out of it at the end of the 2021 season. The Bears were in on Stafford. I'm not shocked that, A, they were, and I've seen multiple reports that the Bears were offering more than just the 20th overall pick in this year's draft. They were trying to excuse me. The Bears were trying to sweeten the pot there with to try to get Stafford. I'm not surprised by that, and I'm also not surprised that the Lions chose to send the face of their franchise outside of the division. It makes all the sense in the world to get him someplace else. You don't want to see Stafford twice a year, even though the Lions are clearly in a rebuilding phase and there's no animosity between Stafford and Detroit, unlike, say, Deshaun Watson in Houston, and I'll get to that in just a second. So I'm not surprised that the Lions chose to send him out to Los Angeles. I think it's a fantastic move for the Lions. Oh, my gosh. To get all those picks for a quarterback on the quote-unquote wrong side of 30. He's going to be 33 by the time next season rolls around. He's never won a playoff game. He only has 2 playoff starts in his career. To get 3 draft picks for him, that is a fantastic, fantastic haul. And that is going to help them try to fix what is probably the worst roster in the division, one of the worst rosters in the league. But it does mean that it's one less quarterback available for the Bears to go after. So now you have to set your sights maybe on Deshaun Watson. The rumors out there that Deshaun wants to come to the Bears, that he wants out of Houston. The Bears would love to have him. I don't think the Bears have the horses to go get Watson. They just don't have the trade material to get that done. It's just going to, if Stafford is worth 2 1s and a 3, Watson's worth minimum 4 first-round picks in my mind. Taryn, I will definitely be listening on Friday. I want to get your reaction of the Stafford-Goff trade. I know we talked a little bit about it last night after it went down, or excuse me, a couple nights ago after it went down. But I'm curious to get your take on it, what Stafford out there in Los Angeles means for the Rams' chances. But for the Bears, Stafford would have been a huge upgrade, would have been great to see him in a Bears uniform. I'm not surprised that they were in on him, and I'm also not surprised that they weren't able to land him. All right. That was rapid fire around the city. Whew! All right. We're going to take one more quick break, and then coming back, Dave Friedman from the Kansas City Shuffle is going to join us, and we are going to talk about the Super Bowl. This is Chi-Town Weekly here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Be back in a bit.
Ladies and gentlemen, hear me and hear me good. If you like sports, then you like the Wait a Minute Show. If you like comedy, then you like the Wait a Minute Show. If you like a different opinion coming from a different angle, then you like the Wait a Minute Show. So join me Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with your host, Jelani J.B. Bodie. And of course, my man Lopan on the WaitAMinuteShow.com. Ain't that right, Lopan?
Hey sports fans, do you like wine? Well, we've got the show for you. This is Let's Wine About Sports, a show where we talk about wine and sports simultaneously. From the classic Cabernet Sauvignon all the way down to the grapes that you've never even heard of before. Oh yeah, we cover it all. And we'll talk about a little bit of sports as well. Football, hockey, collegiate, women's sports, it doesn't matter. We're going to talk about it all, and we're going to whine about it all. So join me Monday at 8 p.m. on IU Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Hey USRN fans, do you have a product or company you're trying to promote? Look no further. USRN is teaming up with small local businesses trying to establish themselves via online promotion. Let us know if you're interested. Email us at usrnradio@gmail.com to learn more.
Everybody, this is Darren Rodriguez. Are you a fan of volleyball? Are you a fan of Thunder Spikes? Then I have the show for you, Set Point, where I cover NCAA men's and women's volleyball, high school boys and girls volleyball, beach volleyball, and even professional volleyball. Catch the action every week here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Green team!
What's going on, football fans? This is me, your boy Larry, inviting you to join myself, Colin Reynolds, Mike Pat, and John Felipe for one of the most electrifying football shows you have ever heard. 3 and Out, right here at IE Sports Radio. Recap of the week before, a preview of what's to come, and of course, 3 hardcore head-to-head prime-time face-offs each week. You don't want to miss it.
And welcome back into Chi-Town Weekly here on IE Sports Radio. Have a fantastic guest for you lined up. Before we get there, just real quick, want to give another shout out to the sponsors. Legacy Financial. Last year was a tough year. However, staying positive, keeping your faith, and continuing to work hard is the goal. If you're in a financial struggle at the moment and you need some help, or if you're doing well and you want to get to the next level, give them a call. Also, if you're looking for a new opportunity to work for yourself and earn more money part-time, give them a call. Call AO at 510-928-2104 to book your appointment today. Andrew and AO are just 2 people on a mission to help families build a legacy. Follow them on Twitter at legacy_uncut or on Instagram at sims_uncut. And then Mom is Always Right Media. Are you feeling overwhelmed with schoolwork? Those essays keeping you up at night? Don't lose sleep, just pick up the phone. Mom is Always Right Writing Agency will give you quality essays, and we will always make our deadlines. Sleep soundly knowing we are on the job. For more information, call 626-653-3649. And they have their podcasts. It Goes Down in the PM and Coffee After Dark. And then also the Sports Rundown. Are you a sports fan but have too much going on in your life these days to keep up with the 24/7 sports news cycle? Or maybe you are new to sports and want to understand the nuances better. If so, then the Sports Rundown is for you. We are a new podcast that gives you basic professional and collegiate sports news, stats, tidbits, and fun facts by the time you get to work, start that second cup of coffee, or finish walking the dog. Enough information to make you dangerous while talking about current sporting events, and we will teach you something fun along the way, like about mascots, uniforms, history, feel-good stories, and sports rules. We even cover the Premier League. New episodes drop Monday and Friday mornings, so come give us a listen. And now I want to bring into the show one of the hosts of the Kansas City Shuffle, which you can hear on Tuesdays right here on IE Sports Radio. Dave Friedman. Dave, thank you so much out of what I'm sure is about to be a very, very busy week to talk about your Chiefs with us.
Well, I appreciate the good intro, man. I do want to make sure that we're not using what I like to call my Anglo-Saxon name. On the streets, they call me D Nacho. You can also follow me at Ivory Thunder on certain adult websites. I'm just kidding about that. But, hey, real quick, nice shout-out on those promos, man. I might have to hire you on the side to go ahead and record those and put them on my own show.
Oh, well, we'll talk later. I'm sure you'll find my fees to be quite reasonable.
I'm sure it's nice. It's Chicago, so what do you guys, I know you have the deep dish pizza, which you guys like to call pizza, but I like to call a marinara casserole, so we can get into that later if you want to. But, yeah, no, absolutely. The Kansas City Chiefs, once again, bringing it back to the Super Bowl, this time at Raymond James Stadium in Tampa Bay. Pretty huge feat if you think about not only the fact not a lot of teams have been able to run it back 2 years in a row, but also considering the implications that this particular year had with COVID. The Chiefs did catch a few breaks. The wide receiver market coming into this year was definitely not as pronounced as it usually is. We were able to retain Sammy Watkins, who I guess we'll see if he ends up ever playing football again, but if he does, definitely a major contributor on the offense. Also able to bring back a lot of our coaching staff. Basically every positional coach and every coordinator that we had coming back again, for this particular run was a huge boon for what we've been able to do. Having that continuity on a team is huge. So especially in the year of COVID. Definitely a big thing, and I know all of Kansas City, if you're ever at all, I know you guys are in Chicago, but you're fellow Midwesterns. Is that a thing? Is that a word? Can we make that a word? We can make that a word. So somebody contact Merriam-Webster. We're making Midwesterns a word now. But yeah, definitely something that has benefited Kansas City for a couple of years now, and we're excited.
Well, and of course the biggest one of all the coaches and everybody else that comes back, the biggest thing though is the quarterback. Pat, you've got Patrick Mahomes. I don't want to make this sound like I'm gushing fanboy here. Is it too early to call him the GOAT? GOAT in training? Does that work? Is that applicable here for this guy? I mean, 3 years as a starter, and he tears the league apart. It's not supposed to be this easy.
Yeah, no, GOAT in training is probably the best, more apt name that you could possibly give the kid. I mean, when you consider the fact that he's been a starter for 3 years, right now as a starter, he's got an 83% win percentage, including the playoffs. It's a .839 if I remember correctly, so pretty close to an 84% win percentage. Consider the fact that before the age of 25 or at the age of 25, in his 3 years starting, Patrick Mahomes has not been in a conference championship. That's incredible. Every single one of his years starting as a quarterback, he has been in the AFC championship, and not only that, but he has led his team to host the AFC championship, which is absolutely amazing. I don't think it's ever been done before. I'd probably have to Google that a little bit more. But what he's been able to do is remarkable. I do think it brought me into a question that I was thinking about for you guys there in Chicago. Now, I don't mean to, throw a dark cloud on the city of Chicago, because I do have a couple friends myself that are big Chicago Bear fans. And when it comes to the NFC, I would say me personally, I do have a solid, healthy respect for the Bears. It's a very solid team. I mean, between the Chicago Bears and the Kansas City Chiefs, we do share one thing in common, and that's that our conference championship trophies are named after our original founders. I mean, that's got to be a sort of brotherhood between these conferences. But when it comes to the 2017 draft, there were 3 quarterbacks that will always be tied together, and that is Patrick Mahomes, Deshaun Watson, and Mitchell Trubisky. Is it fair to say that the talent evaluators and or front office of the Chicago Bears made one of the worst draft mistakes of the past decade?
You're pouring salt into a wound that is 90% healed over. And Taryn hops in the chat, and he can't believe the Bears passed on Mahomes. I'll say it this way to answer your question first, Dave. Yes, it's got to go down as certainly one of the worst of this decade. Now, go back all time. I can give you some worse ones all time, and we'll get to that if you want to. I've got a quarterback on the tip of my tongue that I can give you later. But for the past decade, absolutely, it's a huge miss. I can see why the Bears passed on Mahomes, simply because coming from Texas Tech and the air raid offense and everything in the Big 12, where I think defense is just straight up illegal, I can understand why, all right, maybe you had a question mark about Mahomes, or you could see that, okay, the talent is there, but wow, I mean, he's like a wild stallion. You really need somebody who can break him in to make him be a thoroughbred racehorse. The one that I won't understand is why they passed up Deshaun Watson. I mean, Watson literally got called Michael Jordan by his college head coach. If you would think if there was a city that their ears and antenna would go up just a little bit when the name Michael Jordan gets used, you'd think it would be Chicago. But the Bears general manager, I know a lot of the Chicago listeners know this a little bit, but the Bears general manager was very impressed by Mitch, specifically with the way he interviewed and with the fact that he drove his grandmother's old beat-up Toyota. So take that for what it was. But yes,
I know here as a Kansas City fan, that was one of the reasons that during the draft that Dan Marino came out, that a couple other very large-name quarterbacks came out. We took Todd Blackledge. I'm not going to blame you if you don't remember that name. But yeah, that was one of the reasons that our front office ended up taking him, was because they saw him open the door for his mother as he was walking into the facility and said, "Ooh, that's a high-quality individual, and we want him on the team." Now, my thing is this. I don't disagree that Patrick Mahomes in another franchise may not have become the Patrick Mahomes that he is today. Obviously working with guys like Andy Reid, with Eric Bieniemy, these last couple of years with Kafka as a quarterback coach, obviously with the weapons that he has around him, and the organization itself, which is one that really sets their players up to succeed ever since Andy Reid has been here. But the one thing that you saw with Deshaun Watson is that he's been able to put up some extremely impressive numbers with everything the exact opposite. This year, according to PFF, Deshaun Watson was the number 2 to Patrick Mahomes' number 1 in almost every category of quarterback statistics, and he did that with no DeAndre Hopkins and with Bill O'Brien having headed up the franchise during the offseason and the beginning of the season, both as a coach and temporarily as a general manager. Deshaun Watson deserves a new landing spot, but I digress. We're definitely moving off the topic. I thought that this might be one of those situations for Chicago with the
a little bit of a step up in quarterbacking class across the way.
Spot, and I got about 60% of what you were asking. Here in Kansas City, and quite frankly, what should be around the nation is kind of looking at what this game actually represents. Tom Brady obviously is the GOAT. He's the current GOAT. He's going to be the GOAT for a long time. This is his 10th Super Bowl. He's won 6 of them. He's been the MVP in 4 of them. He is historically the best quarterback to play in the National Football League. This year, the year that we're talking about, the year that Patrick Mahomes is going to face him there in Raymond James Stadium in Tom Brady's own home stadium now, this particular year, is Tom Brady even that quarterback anymore? Tom Brady, to me, is about the 11th to maybe 15th best quarterback in the league. Do I think that he's a force to be reckoned with? Well, he's obviously gotten to the Super Bowl. The team around him has obviously helped out a lot as well. But I don't think he's the quarterback now that puts his team shoulders. I think he's a quarterback that complements what the team gives to him in order to succeed. Could he win this game? Could the Tampa Bay Buccaneers win this game? 100%. It would be foolhardy. It would be conceited. It would be going way out over my skis to even believe that they couldn't. They absolutely can. The defense is a pretty decent defense. Not a lot of run game to be had, but you do have Bruce Arians, and you do have an air-it-out offense. And when Tom Brady is throwing dimes, that offense clicks remarkably. But you'll watch that last playoff game that they played, and in the first half, Tom Brady looked like vintage 2007, 2011 Tom Brady. He was dropping dimes. He was absolutely on point and in sync with every one of his receivers. The second half, he ended up throwing 3 interceptions. Do I think that he can win this game against the Kansas City Chiefs with 3 turnovers? No, I don't think that will be a recipe for success for Tom Brady in that Tampa Bay Buccaneers offense. But do I think that he was able to play mistake-free football? Think Alex Smith 2.0, somebody who is able to connect downfield on a couple key plays and make sure that he manages the game, manages the clock, keeps it in his playmakers' hands, doesn't turn the ball over, and allows his defense to do what they're best at, then they would have a chance. So I guess to wrap that up, if you're asking me if I'm afraid of Tom Brady, no, I'm not.
All right. So then, too quick. We'll do it from both perspectives. If you're the Chiefs, how are you attacking the Buccaneers? And if you're the Buccaneers, how are you attacking the Chiefs?
Well, let's start off with the Buccaneers point first, because the Chiefs have a little bit of question marks up in the air at the moment. But starting from the Buccaneers aspect, what you really want to do against the Chiefs is attack our linebacker unit. Our linebackers are relatively slow. We do not go sideline to sideline very well. And if you catch us in particular situations where we're attacking downfield and you're able to counter that attack with some draw plays, with some flat plays, with little short crossers, then you're going to find that you're going to have success with them. And as much as I think Gronk is obviously not the Gronk that he was back in his heyday, he's still an effective weapon, and he still has years and years of chemistry with Tom Brady. If you see Gronkowski with 100-plus yards and 2 touchdowns in this game, odds are it's a very close game one way or the other. That is how you beat the Chiefs. The Buccaneers do not have a run game that I think would be very effective against them. So if they can get even 75 to 90 yards on the ground, combined with Gronkowski completely demolishing the middle of our defense, you might see some success with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, on the other side, for the Chiefs to attack the Buccaneers, what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to stretch the hell out of that field. The Buccaneers defense is not the top in the league. But as long as they're not matching up guys like they did against Tyreek Hill in our last matchup in, I believe it was week 6, where Tyreek is able to completely blow past them, you're going to have to double both Tyreek and shadow Kelsey or vice versa. There's no way that you can even begin to slow down this Chiefs offense unless you do one or the other. And if we have Sammy Watkins back, I'm not trying to sound like a homer. I just feel like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense will just be completely overmatched based on personnel matchups. There's not a lot you can scheme around that with the skill talent level that they have on their defense. And basically what you're looking for is you're looking for Mahomes to have a bad day. When Mahomes is on point, there's really, even if you do everything right, he's going to keep it a game at very bare minimum. At best, he's going to embarrass you, and then he's going to count on his fingers, okay? That's what it's going to be. And he's going to count, you know what, this is what's going to happen. He's going to throw 6 touchdowns, and he's going to count to 6. And that's going to be to match Tom Brady's Super Bowl rings to his touchdown count, and then you will know from there on going forward that is exactly what Magic Mahomes' entire philosophy is going forward in his career.
Oh, my goodness. So this is also the first Super Bowl where we actually have legitimately a home team. Does that, the Buccaneers, you mentioned the Buccaneers are actually playing this game in their home stadium. Does that factor into this game at all, do you think?
No, mainly because if this was a typical year, I would say, it probably would have a slight factor, but with COVID being what it is, the restricted attendance levels, I know that they were, and the NFL did the right thing by saying that they were going to go ahead and pay for a lot of first responders to come in and watch the game for free, the ones that have been completely vaccinated. So, obviously out of those first responders, they're probably going to be local. They're probably going to be Tampa Bay Buccaneers fans. But, every team this year has had to play in other stadiums with limited attendance, and the Chiefs did not lose a single road game this year, even against teams that did have attendance in their stadium. So while I do think, obviously you always want to play in front of your home crowd, do I think it's going to throw the Chiefs off? Absolutely not. I kind of think that they thrive on that, actually, to an extent.
All right. And then one last thing for you, and then we got to wrap up. Taryn gives his prediction as Chiefs 34, Buccaneers 31. What's your prediction?
It's not a bad prediction, actually. I do see this game being a little bit closer than a lot of people here in Kansas City project. I'm seeing a lot of talking heads here in Kansas City make this a 10-point game. I don't see it being that. I can see the Chiefs taking a slight lead, but I do think this is one of those games where it's the Super Bowl. You don't slow down in the Super Bowl. There's nothing to hold back for the next game. There's nothing to keep away from your next opponent. So I actually see this game being slightly closer than Kansas City pundits, but only because I believe that Tom Brady is Tom Brady, and he won his status as the person that he is based on his ability to, shorten up games. I do think it's a 7-point game. I'm going to go ahead and call it 35-28 Chiefs. But I do think that probably midway through the fourth quarter, it's probably 21-35, and Tampa Bay is able to lead a score, and then Mahomes continues to run the clock out and win the game at the end.
All right. Well, there you have it. Well, Dave Donacho, thank you so very, very, very much for hopping on. I really appreciate it. I know you've got a busy week ahead, and you've got one last thing that you wanted to plug real quick before getting out of here.
Yeah, absolutely. First off, if you care at all to hear a little bit more about the matchups between the Chiefs and the Buccaneers, tomorrow we'll get a little bit more in depth on the Kansas City Shuffle with myself, the Pez Choir Fool, and Greg PD Pablo Escobar, spelled differently, obviously. Make sure you check us out then. But the number one thing we wanted to plug, we did this before the Super Bowl last year. I'm not very good at very many things in life, but the one thing that I'm halfway decent at is writing parody lyrics to major songs. We just wrapped up right before this interview. I'm actually driving during this interview away from Arrowhead Stadium. But we just wrapped up shooting for a music video that we're going to be putting out this coming Friday. I'm sure Adam, being a pretty awesome person, will help me promote it once it gets dropped early Friday, right before the Super Bowl. But check it out. It's going to be a lot of fun. Maybe even we'll link the old video from the last Super Bowl. So really appreciate you guys listening and checking everything out. Make sure you check us out once again at KC Shuffle Show on Twitter. Check out the Kansas City Shuffle. It's not a bad time. And Adam, I really appreciate you bringing me on, man. You're killing it here on the Chi-Town Show, man. I might have to revamp who my NFC team is going forward.
Oh, I love the sounds of that. All right. Dave, thank you again, man. I really appreciate it. Have a good one.
Hey, you too, man. Bye.
All right, bye. Again, that was Dave Donacho. Definitely, yes. Check out the Kansas City Shuffle. They do a fantastic job. Tuesday nights, 6 Central, 7 in the East. They do an awesome job. You need to check them out. All right, we went a little long tonight. That's okay. I'm the only thing on IU Sports Radio tonight. We got a rare Monday where I'm it. So we're going to go a little long tonight. Thank you again to Dave for hopping on and giving us a great Super Bowl preview. Thank you to Taryn hanging out throughout the chat as you did. Thank you to Larry, the birthday boy. One last birthday shout out to Larry for hanging out in the chat for a little bit. And Larry, just thank you for everything that you do here at IU Sports. Taryn works his tail off too. Thank you, Taryn, for everything that you do here for the network. Again, I'm it tonight. There's nobody else to listen to. If you were wondering, well, wait a minute, what about that show that talks about wine? Let's Wine About Sports is on Sundays now. Mike did a show last night, which was excellent and awesome, so go back to the podcast and check that out. He will be off then next Sunday because of the Super Bowl, but then you'll regularly find him on Sundays now. Thank you guys so much for listening. I so appreciate it. I'm so grateful that you guys are here listening to me week in and week out. It is great to have you guys for an audience. We got a Super Bowl to get through. Next week we will be wrapping things up, talking about the ups and downs, maybe some of the commercials if we have to and if they get my attention. Can't get out of here without making a Super Bowl prediction of my own. I am going to go with Chiefs 38, Buccaneers 30. And I think that Mahomes is going to be the one to have the game-winning drive. That is it for me. Everybody stay safe, stay healthy. If you get the chance, please go get your vaccine for this thing so we can be done with it. Until then, see you next week.